Okay, this project seeks to examine the way in which adults learn differently from non-adults and the implications for teaching methods. There's going to be 6 questions, and just to start the first question, could you give a bit of background to yourself in terms of your learning?
Right, well, my background might not be similar to any other interviewees because I'm actually a Slovak, and I've pursued the compulsory part of education with my master's degree back in Slovakia. Now, I guess the main difference between Slovakia and England would be that in Slovakia we had university degrees still actually free of charge. Now, in my terms, I actually went through the compulsory part of education and then immediately followed to high school, immediately followed by 5 years of university, finishing with a master's degree. There was a little gap between following to a higher education for me because I went to a full-time job, got employed for a year, and after that full-time of employment I thought, well, there's something missing in my life, and decided to pursue my, even I would say, academic career. Going to England and embarking on a course in PhD at Leeds University Business School.
Bro. Question 2. What is actually your definition of an adult learner?
Well, this might be slightly difficult because I think it depends on the point of view. You can describe the adult learner someone being older than 18 years of age, or maybe even someone who first finished his compulsory courses of education and then went to get employed, full-time employed, with all the responsibilities he had in his life, and then realizing that he needs or wants a little more in terms of education and goes back to school. That might be one point of view. The other point of view might be that the adult learner is someone who recognized the need for higher education after some previous job experience, regardless of age. You know, it might be someone who actually finished the school at the age of 16, went to get employed for 3 years and then realized, okay, I would get a better job if I go back to school and learn more.
Excellent. Question 3. What was your motivation for pursuing further education or adult learning?
Maybe not really a common one. I felt an urge to write a book. I just never knew it would be a fairly scientific book on foreign direct investments in economics. That was actually part of the motivation. The other part was that I was always interested in economics myself, since I can remember. I never actually doubted or questioned any other career than just career in economics. And maybe the last one would be that I wanted to actually be successful in something. And pursuing the PhD and successfully finishing it after odd many years of studying felt like a great success.
Excellent. Question 4. Do you believe that the distinction between compulsory and non-compulsory education has implications for how students learn?
I would believe it is a case, mainly because when you're looking at motivation as the strongest factor for people wanting to learn or having to learn, when you're attending compulsory school, you're basically forced to learn. No one asks you a question whether you actually want it or not. However, in non-compulsory education, that is, I believe, a conscious decision of the learner wanting to actually learn more, and that's the motivation, that's the crucial for it.
And do you believe that adults in non-compulsory education learn differently to non-adults in compulsory education? And if so, what are the implications on teaching methods?
I believe there are more views actually of this, or more views on this question you can engage, because For compulsory education, if you're just looking at the age, can we just start again?
I can edit that bit out.
Yeah.
Just again, yeah. Do you believe that adults in non-compulsory education learn differently to non-adults in compulsory education? If so, what are the implications on teaching methods? So should there be different teaching methods depending upon who you're teaching?
Now, what are there any differences between how people learn in compulsory and non-compulsory education? Again, if you're looking at it from just a pure age perspective, I believe there are differences, of course, because i.e. the younger people who follow the course of compulsory education supposedly learn easier, they're more open, more perceptive, they accept the information, on receive information more easily and store it even more easily than other people, i.e. the non-compulsory education or adult learners who might be affected by the work experience, personal relations, other problems, even financial problems or responsibility, different types of responsibility.
So do you believe that adults, in terms of their life experience or their maturity, means that they should be taught in a different way to younger people who might not potentially have that life experience?
I do believe so, definitely, and you might not actually limit the definition to adults as such, because even the younger people can have certain life experiences that affect the way they learn, their own perception of life and the responsibilities they had. So the age might not be the only limiting factor that you need to employ, but generally speaking, I believe that there should be a difference in how actually the adult learners should be approached and the younger people at compulsory education should be approached.
And final question, what obstacles or challenges did you face in your learning or in your adult learning, and do you think these are unique to adults?
Well, if we take my case specifically, of course, the biggest challenge from the beginning was the language. Not only language barrier, but maybe even a social barrier of being in a different country and attending a different even school system, basically in a different country. However, for adult learners, there are many more challenges which I mentioned actually before. The adult learners don't just focus on their learning. It's only part of their lives, as compared to the younger people in the compulsory education, because the adult learners, first of all, most probably they made the conscious decision to follow, higher education than themselves. So there's different in motivation, most probably. Usually the non-compulsory education is charged, so there are financial issues that need to be covered as well. On top of that, the adult learners usually are in full-time employment, so they have to find their own time and space, to pursue their education, and it might be very difficult after a whole stressful day at work. These are the factors, that I can just talk from the top of my head, but I'm sure there are many, many more, as I mentioned before, relationship factors. There are families behind, need to be taken care of as well.
Excellent, great. And finally, is there anything you'd like to add that you think we've not covered?
I think at this moment I'm completely exhausted with anything I could add to this subject.
Great, brilliant, thank you.